question to you, which was a question to me also years ago, was why was this the only thing they asked him to teach them? They never asked him to do miracles or to walk on water. They said, just teach us this one thing. Teach us how to do this thing you do. The thing that you do by yourself. The thing we watch you do from behind the bush. Why were they only interested in one thing? Teach us how to pray. I figured it out. Because the disciples finally caught on. Listen carefully. It's what I call inductive and deductive logic. The disciples became smart after a while. Because you see, the Bible would always say this, and Jesus rose up a great time before day and went to a solitary place to pray. Have you ever read that before in your Bible? Wave at me if you read that before. Good. Now, I'm going to say it again. Listen to it carefully. And a great while before day, Jesus rose up and went to a solitary place alone. When did he do that? A great while before day. Now, those of you who probably like me have been to Israel many times, and most of us who've been to the East would know that day in the Middle East begins for those people who go to town and those who take goods to sell to the market. Day can begin around 5 a.m., between 4:30 and 5 a.m. That's when day begins in the East. Matter of fact, day begins with the sunrise. The sun usually rises around 4 a.m. Keep looking at me. He woke up when? A great while before. Which means he must have gotten up by 3 a.m. every morning to pray. And by the time the disciples woke up, he had already finished his entire communication. He prayed at least 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 4 hours of prayer average every morning. And the disciples were amazed. Every time they woke up, they caught him doing this thing. And he was doing it every morning for hours. And then when he would finish this thing called prayer, then he would say, let's go to the town. And he would go down off the mountain and they would walk into the city and he would do something crazy. He would walk up to a blind man and says, what can I do for you? And the blind man says, I want to receive my sight. And he would just say to the man, see. And he would walk off. One fraction of a second, the man's eye was open. He would go to a leper and he would say, what can I do for you? I want to be cleansed. He'd say, be clean. And he would walk off. It took about a fraction of a second. Then he walks up to a man who had a little child that was sick. He says, what's the matter? He says, my child is vexed. He said, no problem. Demon, go. Demon left in a second. Then he walks up to another woman who had a baby going into the casket to get buried. He stopped, touched the coffin. Live. And the baby lived. Just took a fraction of a second. And the disciples were watching this. And they said, my goodness, it took him a fraction of a second to do that. And took him 4 hours in the morning with this other thing. They began to figure it out. They said, look, we spent hours trying to cast a demon out. Come out, come out, come out. Come out, I say. I bind you. I loose you. I loose you. Come on. Now you take over. I'm tired. Okay. Come out. Come out. I loose you. Come out. And for hours, you're trying to cast a demon out. You're trying to heal the sick, laying on your hands on a person with disease. Come out, come out. And he just touched him in a second and left. But he spent 4 hours in the morning doing this thing. So the disciples' conclusion was, if you spend 4 hours in the morning with God, you'll only spend a minute with men in the day. They were logical. You know what we do? We spend a minute in the morning with God and 4 hours trying to solve a problem in the day with men.